This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right. We're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go! I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
The story you're about to enjoy was inspired by Nora. Thank you so much for your amazing idea. Can we have your attention, please? Asked Levi as he stood in his playroom next to his art easel covered with a big piece of poster board. If everyone can look right up here, added Ivy as she stood next to her brother. They were both talking to their parents who were sitting on the floor in the playroom. They knew why they were there and sat waiting for the presentation to begin. However, Levi and Ivy's parents had heard this presentation several times before. On that very same day, to be specific. And that wasn't all. The same presentation had been given by Levi and Ivy for the last 2 months whenever they had a free minute or two with their parents. It was all very well thought out, filled with lots of great pictures and very compelling speeches. However, Levi and Ivy's parents just couldn't say yes to the question that was asked at the end of every one of these get-togethers. So in conclusion, Ivy said as she pointed to the picture of an adorable puppy playing in a field of flowers, this is reason 25 that Ivy and I should get a dog. I mean, what could be cuter than this? As we end our We Want a Dog presentation, we'd like to ask you both, said Levi with the puppy dog look on his face. Can we please get a dog? Levi and Ivy waited with smiles on their faces, hoping this would be the time that their parents would finally say yes. But once again, their parents said, no, we're really sorry, but this is not a great time for us to get a dog, said Levi and Ivy's mom as she had many times before. There are a lot of responsibility and we have busy schedules right now, said Levi, repeating the reasons he and Ivy had heard from their parents over and over and over again. That's right, said Levi and Ivy's dad. I know it's not the answer you wanted to hear, but I think it's safe to say you knew it was coming, right? Levi and Ivy both nodded their heads. You've done this presentation about 50 times now, even when we tell you it's not going to change our minds, said Levi and Ivy's mom. We're happy to sit and listen, and we do like to see which new puppy pictures you'll use. But it makes us feel bad to have to keep saying no over and over again. Maybe this can be the last We Want a Dog presentation for a little while, okay? Asked Levi and Ivy's dad as he stood up and walked out of the playroom. Sorry, kiddos, but you know we're right, said Levi and Ivy's mom as she got up as well. We just wouldn't be able to properly care for a dog right now. But maybe someday. And it was that last line, not right now, but maybe someday, that kept a glimmer of hope in Levi and Ivy's hearts. Someday could be tomorrow, right? Asked Levi as he and Ivy cleaned up their charts and poster boards. Technically, you're right, but I think we have to give it a rest for a bit, answered Ivy. I mean, I want a dog as much as you, but I think Mom and Dad just aren't ready to change their minds anytime soon. Levi knew his sister was right, but he wasn't happy about it. After cleaning up the playroom, Levi and Ivy decided to go play outside and to try to take their minds off the fact that they didn't get a dog of their own. However, when they got outside, they quickly realized it wasn't the best place to forget about not having a dog. As they played catch in the front yard, they heard their neighbor's dog, Buttons, barking next door. They loved the sound and thought how fun it would be to have their own little barking furry friend running around their backyard. Levi and Ivy had often talked about what they would name their dog, what kind of games they would play with it, fun chew toys they would buy, and how they would take turns letting it sleep in their rooms at night. Someday that'll be our dog barking, said Levi. I just know it'll happen someday. Yep, little Ollie, he'll be wagging his cute little tail and jumping up and down on his cute little paws, all while wearing a cute little doggy sweatshirt, added Ivy. Daydreaming about having their own dog always brought a smile to their faces, but that smile quickly faded when they realized a daydream was all it was. They decided to run over to their neighbor's house, as they often did, and asked to play with his dog. Their neighbor said yes, as always, and Levi and Ivy finished their game of catch with Buttons. As they played, a gentle summer breeze blew through their neighbor's backyard, and as soon as it did, Buttons froze. His nose turned towards the sky and began to sniff the air wildly. "What is it, buddy?" asked Levi as he tried to figure out what had gotten Buttons' attention. Ivy looked around the yard as well, and that's when she noticed something moving around near the bottom of the fence. There was a small hole there, and Ivy could see little flecks of dirt and stones being pushed into the yard from the other side. She told Levi, and they watched as Buttons ran over to the hole, barking and jumping around. It didn't take long for all of them to find out what was making the hole bigger and getting Buttons all excited. As more and more dirt flew, Levi and Ivy saw a little pink nose pop through from under the fence. Next, they saw 2 brown furry ears and the biggest, sweetest eyes they had ever seen. And before they knew it, Buttons was running around in the yard with a new friend, a little puppy. "That is the cutest dog I've ever seen," exclaimed Ivy. But to be fair, she thought every puppy she saw was the cutest little dog she'd ever seen. However, Levi had to agree this time. This little puppy was very cute and ran around the backyard, stopping to sniff Levi and Ivy as it went. "This puppy must have someone very worried right now," said Levi, bending down to see if the dog had a collar with a tag that would tell him its name, but they couldn't find one. "What are we gonna do?" asked Ivy. "I mean, we can't just keep it because it doesn't have a tag, right?" Ivy was hoping maybe she was wrong and this was a finders keepers situation, but in the back of her mind, she knew this puppy belonged to someone and they had to do the right thing and get their parents involved to get it back home. But for one brief moment, Levi and Ivy both pretended that the little dog was theirs. They ran around their neighbor's backyard with it, playing catch and laughing in the summer sun. Then, as the little puppy got tired and lay down to take a rest, Levi and Ivy knew it would be a good time to pick it up and carry it home to show their parents. Once they got back to their house, they called their mom and dad, who quickly appeared at the front door to see what was going on. "Levi, Ivy, didn't we already have this conversation? No dogs right now," said Levi and Ivy's mom as she walked over to the kids. She couldn't help but notice how cute the puppy was and reached out to pet it. "Oh, he's so soft," she said. "And look at those floppy little ears and that sweet little nose." Levi and Ivy smiled at each other, hearing how happy their mom was to see the dog. However, she quickly brought herself back into the reality of the situation and asked where the puppy had come from. Levi and Ivy told their parents the story, and they walked into the backyard to find out what to do next. After giving the puppy some water, they sat at the picnic table to talk about what they were going to do. After a few suggestions from Levi and Ivy about how the dog could live with them in their treehouse in the backyard, the family all decided what they should really do. They would look online to see if anyone in their neighborhood was reporting a lost dog, as well as post on their neighborhood site that they had found the little puppy. They were also going to be on the lookout for any missing dog flyers that were posted around town by the dog's owner. So after looking online and talking to a few neighbors, no one had seen the dog before and didn't know of anyone that had mentioned their dog was missing that day. "I guess that means he has to stay the night," said Levi and Ivy with big smiles. "I mean, it's either that or bring him to the animal shelter," said Levi's mom as she looked into the cute little puppy's eyes. "But I guess since it's only for a day or two, the puppy can stay here." Levi and Ivy could have not been happier and ran all around their backyard with their new furry friend. Levi and Ivy had started calling the puppy Ollie earlier that day and decided that it would be what they called it until they found its owner. But when the next day arrived and the next, Levi and Ivy's parents didn't think anyone would ever come forward to claim the little puppy. "I'm so surprised no one has responded to our online posts, and we haven't seen one missing dog flyer or heard from a neighbor about this little one," said Levi and Ivy's dad as he petted the puppy. Levi and Ivy should have been happy, but they didn't know exactly what their parents were going to do next. "I think we need to bring Ollie, this sweet little puppy, to the animal shelter at this point. Remember, we said we weren't ready to have a dog right now," said Levi and Ivy's mom. But something about the look on her face and the tone of her voice made Levi and Ivy think she didn't really agree with what she was saying. "Just one more day, Mom and Dad, please?" asked Levi and Ivy. Their parents, seeing how much fun their kids were having and how much the puppy loved being with them, agreed to another day together. And that one day was all they needed. As Levi and Ivy were taking Ollie for a walk, they noticed a red truck drive through their neighborhood. It caught their eye because it was an old-fashioned looking truck painted with the shiniest, brightest red paint they had ever seen. As the truck drove down the street, they could see the person driving it was clearly looking for someone. But the driver didn't see them yet, and Levi and Ivy didn't think too much more about it. That was until they heard something. The person driving the red truck had his window down and was shouting something. It was a name. "Beans! Beans!" called out the driver as he finally turned his head to the left and looked right at Levi and Ivy. They had both stopped on the sidewalk because as soon as the little puppy heard the name being called, it began to bark and pull on its leash, dragging Levi and Ivy toward the truck. "Beans!" called out the driver excitedly as he pulled over and hopped out of the truck. By this time, Levi and Ivy's parents had walked over to their kids, having heard all the commotion. "My puppy, you found Beans!" said the man as he knelt down and petted the excited little dog. "Thank you so much. I've been looking for him for days." Levi and Ivy felt so happy that the man found his puppy, but very quickly knew that meant Ollie would be leaving them. "We're so happy you found him," said Levi. "He was a lot of fun to take care of for the past few days." "He really was. By the way, do you live around here?" asked Ivy. "So maybe we could come and visit Beans every once in a while?" The man went on to introduce himself and explain what happened. He had lived just a few neighborhoods over, but moved a few days ago. His dog Lily had puppies a couple of months earlier, and Beans was one of them. "I guess with everything going on with the move, this little guy just got out and ran off," said the man. "I'm just so happy you two found him and took such good care of him." He explained he hadn't seen the post online because he wasn't part of their neighborhood site and was going to be putting up missing dog flyers that day if he didn't find Beans. "They really did take good care of him," said Levi and Ivy's mom, sounding like she was realizing maybe having a dog now was something their family could handle. Hearing that, the man said, "I don't know if we would be interested, but I was planning on posting a few of the puppies up for adoption, and Beans could be yours if you'd like." Levi and Ivy couldn't believe what they were hearing. They were so excited, but before they got their hopes up, they turned to their parents to see what they would say. "Maybe that someday Mom keeps talking about is today," Ivy whispered to Levi as she crossed her fingers and hoped her parents would have a change of heart after seeing how well Levi and Ivy took care of Beans. "You know what?" said Levi and Ivy's dad. "If you're all okay with it, I think right now would be a great time to bring a dog into our family." Levi and Ivy's mom jumped up and down with joy. She was clearly growing very attached to the little puppy and was so happy to hear that her husband was too. Levi and Ivy couldn't believe what they were hearing. They all accepted the man's offer, adopting Beans on the spot, deciding to keep his original name. "So, Beans it is," said Levi and Ivy's mom later that day as they played with their new puppy in the backyard. "That's right," said Ivy. "We figured we'd save Ollie for our next dog we get," said Levi jokingly with a big smile. Just so happy his parents had agreed to let him keep Beans. "Very funny, Levi," said his mom with a grin. "Maybe a second dog someday, just not right now." Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.